Session 12, Headless CLI, Structured Output, and CI. An interactive user can clarify ambiguity and reject a bad action. CI cannot. Inputs, tools, permissions, turns, outputs, timeout, and policy must all be explicit before execution begins. By the end of this session, you will be able to turn an interactive task into a bounded print mode contract, validate structured output, keep infrastructure failures distinct from clean results, and roll out advisory checks before they ever block a merge. The pipeline has a strict shape. Trusted workflow configuration sits at the top, feeding a bounded repository diff, a reviewed prompt, and minimal tools into a headless Claude code process. What comes out is untrusted model output. It passes through schema validation and evidence validation, and only then reaches the policy layer. The policy layer publishes an advisory, warns, or blocks, and blocks only under explicit policy. Model output is input to the policy layer, not the policy itself. The job contract makes every decision explicit before the run. Trigger, trusted configuration, input diff, excluded data, model, allowed tools, maximum turns, timeout, output schema, artifact retention, failure policy, blocking threshold, override process. 13 fields. The first 6 bound the input, what starts the job, what configuration it trusts, and exactly which changes it may see. The rest binds the run itself, how long, how many turns, what output shape, and what happens on failure. Structured output begins with a small schema, a summary string, and an array of findings. Each finding carries a severity that is either blocking or warning, a file, a line number, evidence, and impact. This is the contract between the model and the policy layer. The model produces JSON that matches this shape, and nothing else is accepted. Then you validate. Parsability, allowed enum values, required fields, the file belongs to the supplied diff, the line is plausible, the finding count is bounded, and the evidence is non-empty. Here is the rule that keeps the whole job honest. Schema valid does not mean factually correct. The shape is checked mechanically, the truth still requires review. Every possible outcome is routed deliberately. A confirmed valid finding publishes an advisory. No findings publishes a clean summary. Malformed or schema-invalid JSON marks the analysis unavailable, never clean. A timeout marks it incomplete. A tool or model failure surfaces an infrastructure error, retried within policy. A finding outside the diff is rejected. And the one rule that must never break, do not label infrastructure failure as code as clean. The guided lab runs 4 failure fixtures, a valid finding, malformed output, a timeout, and a tool failure, and confirms the job performs no write. 4 fixtures, 0 repository writes. The advisory is read-only by construction. Pull request titles, code comments, issues, and logs are untrusted data. State trusted instructions separately, restrict tools, use least privilege credentials, prohibit external writes, and validate every finding against the supplied diff. And never place untrusted pull request text directly into shell command substitution. That is how a comment inside the diff becomes a command on your runner. Rollout is measured, not guessed. Track precision of blocking findings, false positive rate, review latency, timeout rate, developer override rate, and missed defects. Promote to a merge gate only when the policy owner accepts the measured behavior and a human-readable override path exists. Until then, the job stays advisory, it informs, it never decides. The acceptance checklist has 8 gates. Flags were verified locally. Input is bounded to intended changes. Tools, turns, and timeout are bounded. Output is schema validated. Infrastructure failures are distinct from clean results. No external or repository write occurs. Logs do not expose secrets. And the job is advisory by default. All 8 close before this job belongs anywhere near a merge gate. That is session 12. CI cannot ask, so encode every decision before execution. Remember the spine claim: model output is input to the policy layer, not the policy itself. Validate shape, then judge truth. Keep infrastructure failures distinct from clean results. Treat every pull request string as untrusted. And promote to blocking only on measured behavior. Next session, the capstone, a full production review workflow.